Very good morning and welcome to another day of evacuation. La da da.
Coming up on Evacuation, church is snot funny for Felix. There's a stinging punishment for Harry and Laura.
I'm not eating this rubbish.
And our evacuees learn how to balance the books.
It looks as if you're staring over the fence at a cow.
To escape the bombing raids of World War II, over 1 million children were evacuated from cities to the countryside. Now we've taken a bunch of modern boys and girls back in time to live in the 1940s.
You are playing into the hands of Mr. Hitler.
They've experienced some old-fashioned discipline.
Hands on it!
Been fed farm-fresh food.
Can't eat that, that's just blank.
And have slowly settled into life at Castle Farm.
You can call me Auntie Sue and you can call Mr. Yvette Uncle Brian.
It's Sunday, and if our evacuees think it's a day of rest, they can think again.
You lot, get down here now! Wakey, wakey, wakey! Come on, up you get!
That's the loudest yet.
Oh, Mom! Come on, Harry, up you get. 10 minutes, dress, bed's made. No, come on. Up, up, up.
Auntie Sue's homemade alarm clock is not popular with these sleepyheads.
I hate that pang which wakes us up every morning. It annoys me. No, shut up, chill, it's morning.
Yeah, I also hate that van. Annoying, really hurts your head in the morning.
The girls get the same treatment, but this morning it's Auntie Sue who's in for a shock.
Wakey, wakey, up you get.
They're already dressed. Brilliant. But Auntie Sue's not impressed.
How come you're all dressed and you've been in bed with your clothes on?
We went into Sapasia anti-shock.
Not a very sensible idea. Downstairs, get washed.
Nice try, girls. But at Castle Farm, nobody beats the saucepan.
10 minutes really isn't enough for us to get dressed and do our hair. So we got up and we got dressed. But then Tia said, well, why don't we get back into bed and hide? So we did that. I was just not very happy.
I think they thought this would be some sort of prank. However, it didn't go down very well. I was absolutely fuming about it. Their clothes that they go outdoors with, into their clean sheets, and I just do not have time today for this sort of nonsense.
Back in the 1940s, Sunday was the most important day of the week. There was no television, no trips to cinemas, and all the shops were closed for the day. Everything shut down, because Sundays were about one thing only.
This morning, we are going to church. All the village will be there, and I want your best behaviour. If you step out of line in church, you will be severely punished.
Church was a formal affair, so any misbehaviour or bad manners will embarrass Auntie Sue in front of her friends and neighbours. Not a good idea.
Felix, we've got a hanky.
Well, you have got a handkerchief. Go and get... Who else is sniffing? Tia, go and get a handkerchief.
There was a wartime saying, coughs and sneezes spread diseases. So at Castle Farm, there's a simple rule. Snotty-nosed children must always carry a handkerchief. And they'd better sharpen up their appearance too.
There is not going to be a hair out of place, and you're going to be clean and tidy.
Felix, you'll need to put some Brill cream in your hair. You can't go to church with
he will
standing.
not go out looking like that.
Your hair looks worse than mine on a bad day.
Before coming to Castle Farm, every day was a bad hair day for Felix.
My name is Felix Chancellor Burton, and I haven't cut my hair in 6 years. I don't really remember why I started to grow it, but now I've got it this long, I don't really want to cut it.
And the longer it got, the less keen he was to have it cut.
I've got my hair so long that sometimes it gets caught on door handles. Sometimes my hair gets stuck in my food. Ooh, what disgusting, really. I don't think any kid in the 1940s would have had hair like mine. I don't know what they'll make of it.
Well, well, well.
What they made of it was a quick shot back and sides.
Bowl.
Felix received the original pudding basin haircut. One 1940s trim later, and Felix almost looks respectable.
It feels a bit strange with hair like this. It looks a bit stupid, but oh well.
Nowadays, our modern children are used to wardrobes full of trendy new gear. But not here. During the war, everything was in short supply, including clothes. But everyone saved a special outfit for church, known as their Sunday best.
I don't usually go to church. No one really in my family goes to church.
And I don't really want to go. I'm not one for going to church.
We're just going to be sat there doing nothing, and if we like talk or mess around, then we're just going to get really shouted at, and I don't see the point in going.
But Auntie Sue was in no mood for bad attitude this morning.
And I don't want any nonsense out of you, Harry, either. Are you ready? Right. And keep in line, please.
And their teacher, Miss Young, is on hand to keep them on the straight and narrow.
It's time to introduce our boys and girls to a 1940s church service, and that means lots of singing. I just hope that they're in
Fine voice!
With the entire village present, the pressure's on for our evacuees to make a really good impression. And Uncle Brian is leading by example. If only our evacuees could find the right page.
Sounds pretty good.
Here beginneth the 15th verse of the 7th chapter of the Gospel according to St. Matthew.
Wartime church services could be very long and very boring. Miss Young has sat where she can keep a beady eye out for any monkey business. And she wants fidgeting Felix right under her nose.
Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit.
Uh-oh. It looks like Felix has forgotten his hanky. It's the one thing he was told not to leave behind. Oh, and he really needs it now. And luckily for Felix, Miss Young's mind is on higher things. But the floodgates have opened. With no tissue to hand, snotty Felix is getting desperate.
Alleluia, alleluia, widely as it...
Oh no, not the hymn book. It's the final straw for Miss Young. She's had enough of Felix's disgusting behaviour.
Not happy. You are fidgeting far too much. Keep your hands away from your face. Hold them on your prayer book. Face forward. Listen to the vicar. That you will do.
And Miss Young's word is final.
Through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Amen.
At the end of the service, our evacuees dutifully hand in their hymn books. But you wouldn't want Felix's though, would you? After the bogey business, it looks like Felix is in line for even more trouble. Auntie Sue has spotted his secret stash of sweets.
Oh dear, it's not a great day for Felix. First the nose blowing, and now he's in serious, serious trouble. Uncle Brian is not happy.
How dare you bring sweets to church? What are you up to?
I forgot I had my gas mask on.
You are in serious trouble for the rest of the day.
And it's not just Felix who'll suffer for his sins.
I will not tolerate children taking sweets of any sort into church. It's disgraceful. And as punishment for this, I'm actually going to go around this afternoon and collect up all of the sweets.
Auntie Sue is about to break the bad news.
I've actually done a room search today and I have confiscated all the sweets. Because of your behaviour this morning, Felix, at church, everybody has lost their sweets.
Ouch. I wonder what the others will think of that.
I'm not actually really annoyed with Felix, even though I should be, because they were my sweets. I'm really annoyed with Mrs. Rivet, because she didn't have to take everybody's sweets off him.
Well, all of our sweets have been confiscated because of him, but I'm not really that bothered. It's my mate, so I won't hold it against him.
It kind of annoyed me that Felix got taken them off, but it's Felix. I would like to forgive him.
He may be snotty, and he may have lost them their sweets, but after going to church, our evacuees have learnt all about forgiveness. Apart from church, a traditional Sunday activity was a nice walk in the country.
This might be good, this little hill here.
And today seems perfect for a picnic.
In wartime Britain, all produce was homegrown, and those who lived out in the countryside found new ways of boosting their rations. Auntie Sue is making nettle soup for dinner, but the evacuees have to collect them first. Right. Ow! Has anyone got any dock leaves?
Nettles may be weeds, but at least there's plenty of them. No, Felix, that's a bramble. There's no soup in there.
Well, if you stick your finger on top of those hairs, that'll bite you. But if you stroke it this way, it won't sting you.
These city boys and girls are still getting used to the joys of the countryside.
Do you have to actually pick it out? Ow, I got stuck again! It's coming all funny. Oh, I'm gonna die.
Stinging nettles are hardly a delicacy, but in times of war, people tried any food going.
I understand lettuce and cucumber, but nettles?
I've never had nettle soup and I don't like the sound of it, really.
Picking nettles to eat. Wow.
I don't know whether it'll just itch your tongue or something, I don't know.
Today's nettle soup isn't the first yucky meal our evacuees have had to endure at Castle Farm. Since being here, they've faced all kinds of wartime favourites.
And that? I don't even know what that is.
But Laura and Harry have regularly refused to eat.
No, I'm alright. No, I'm not. I'm serious, I'm alright.
And Mrs. Rivet has had enough.
The reason you are both here is what, Laura?
Because we didn't finish our dessert last night.
OK. And I find it extremely hurtful and upsetting, Harry, we stopped doing that, that I actually stand out here for hours preparing your meals and you won't eat them. So this evening you are going to prepare what you've picked today so that you can actually appreciate what work and effort goes into putting a meal on the table. All right?
Auntie, so
Okay.
I did try it, that dessert, but I just didn't like it.
But it's not the point. I have to eat things that I don't like and life is very unfair.
Good effort, Harry, but you two aren't getting out of this one.
So you need to go through the ones with the tips. You can just put in the tips, these. That's it. That goes in. Throw that away.
So what does this nettle soup taste like then?
It tastes of stinging nettles.
That's right, Laura, and it will take a lot of nettles to feed 11 hungry evacuees.
Look at it. Look at it. Disgusting. I can't process these.
I'll just let him give me another punishment.
Yeah, say sorry. I'm not eating this rubbish.
Making nettle soup shouldn't be a problem for Laura. She's usually up for any challenge.
Me and my dad are very competitive in all sports.
And that's simply because I'm good at most sports myself. And she doesn't like to be beat at all.
I really love winning.
Yes! Yes!
I'm quite a bad loser.
We've had family games of Snap, where Laura has gone into a 2-day drop.
Yes!
When I'm bowling against my dad and he gets a strike, he's really happy, but I'm inside, I'm like, oh, I wish he didn't get that. But then when I get a strike, I'm really happy, and he's also like, oh, I wish he didn't get that either. I am going to be competitive on the farm because everyone's doing different things, and I want to be the best at something new.
I'm not sure Laura had nettle soup in mind, though.
OK, I want you to squeeze those nettles. Come on.
That black liquid is pure nettle juice. There's no tinned soup here. Virtually every ingredient is fresh from the farm. Butter comes from Bessie the cow, fresh veg from the garden, flour ground from the wheat, and the magic ingredient, nettles, of course. In the days before food processors did all the work for you, this is how food was blended.
Push it through. I have to stand here and do it. You do it. Like I say, hopefully you'll appreciate what effort goes into making your food.
With the soup prepared, what's the chef's verdict?
When the other children see the soup, I think they're going to look at it and think, oh yeah, let's try this, this could be nice. But when we look at it, we think it's water with grass in it. I think eating nettles would probably be a bit disgusting, like just in case a dog's weeding them or something.
Hopefully the others will be a bit more enthusiastic.
We made this. We made this.
It looks nice. It smells nice. It smells like mint.
You better eat it all.
Would you like to tell your guests what they have for today's lunch?
You all have nettle
No,
soup.
today, everybody.
Today, everybody, you'll be having nettle soup and bread.
Well, the test is in the tasting. Will they eat it?
It's quite nice, actually.
2 weeks ago, these fast food fanatics brought their fussy, modern attitudes to Castle Farm. But today, it would seem they're slowly coming round to wartime cuisine.
It has a taste that I haven't tasted before.
No, have you ever eaten nettles before?
Yeah.
You've eaten nettles before? No. Well, if you ever eat soup again and it hasn't got a name and it tastes like that, you'll know it's nettle soup, won't you?
Yeah. The word nettle soup doesn't really sound too good, but it did actually taste quite nice with a bit of salt and some other bits.
When it was lunchtime, we did eat it, but it gives you a sort of like weird taste in your throat. Yeah, I could feel the little tiny like clumps of nettle that was in it. It was a bit disgusting, but got over it.
There may be no school on Sunday, but Miss Young has something far more daunting in mind.
Castle Farm has a very important visitor for afternoon tea. The vicar's coming, so it's time for Miss Young to polish off those rough city edges.
She's here to teach our children some old-fashioned manners.
I shall start with you, Chancellor Burton. Stand, as a gentleman does when a lady comes into the room. That is a perfect nonsense. It looks as if you're staring over the fence at a cow. Your hands should be behind your back, and now stand straight. You're going to stand like that for some time.
Felix has got his standing orders. Now for the next step.
I would like you to walk. Of course, I expect you to balance the book upon your head to ensure that your back is perfectly correct and straight, and that your head is at the right angle. See if you can look at me. Very good. Turn, don't touch. Very good indeed, Lau. And now to add to this, a boy and a girl walking together across the room. Now watch this. The gentleman and the lady together. Come on, up it goes. Keep it on.
Our evacuees are showing the grace and poise of true ladies and gentlemen.
Very good, Tia. Very good.
Bravo. All except Felix, that is. And for their next trick, these clowns are going to brush up on their small talk.
Now we need to practice conversation. Quite the most dominant part of any afternoon tea party. Now I will add in some sentences you can say. We had a really lovely walk back from the church this morning after your delightful service. It is a great pleasure to see you here today. Begin.
It's lovely. It's a pleasure to have you here, Vicar. Yeah, thank you.
After misbehaving in church, how will Felix fare with polite chit-chat?
Blah blah. You're supposed to see real words in English.
What lovely weather we're having today.
Yes. Do you hate you? I do indeed. And you? But I think we're having lovely weather.
And stop. As soon as the vicar arrives, you will be called, 2 by 2, to have a word or two with him. Ask how he is. I expect and duly hope that at the end of having his tea party with you, he will come and see me and tell me how very happy he is. Please ensure that that is the case.
The vicar is about to come for tea, so Miss Young has been preparing us for the last hour and a half on etiquette and how to sit and how to dish stuff out to him. So it's a bit, nerve-wracking. Back straight, knees like that, pants like that, and I'm thinking, well, I'll just sit like this. I'll sit like this, I'll sit like this, I'll do anything.
Miss Young's lesson was the most stupidest thing since life came upeth. Who would sit like this in 2006? Only the Queen, and she's too even old to cross the legs. No one would do that. That is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Oh, good night.
Back in the 1940s, it was a real honour if the vicar paid a visit for afternoon tea. So our evacuees have much to live up to.
We are about to have tea with the vicar, a very respectable person. So we've all got to be on our toes and on our best behaviour, otherwise...
I've never had tea with a vicar because I haven't actually talked first hand to a vicar as well, so I'm really nervous.
Good afternoon. Do
Hello.
come in. Hello, nice to see you again. Do come in.
If we go wrong, I don't think the vicar will be pleased, but I think it'll be Miss Young that's going to come on us like a ton of bricks. And it's going to be so scary.
Miss Young issues some last-minute instructions.
Are we all ready for this most important occasion? Now I'll choose the first 2 to come, and then I will come out with you and take the next 2.
With Auntie Sue and the vicar waiting, Laura and Richard lead the way.
Good afternoon, Vicar. Good afternoon, Vicar.
Vicar, this is Evacuation.
Hello.
And this
Very
is
pleased
Hall.
to meet you.
Nice to see you. Come and sit down here.
That's it, Richard. Ladies first. Well done.
Are you well, Vicar?
Am I well?
Yeah.
I'm very well, thank you. It was very nice to see you all in church. In fact, I think I heard you all singing pretty well.
Yes, it was a very lovely service.
To stay on the right side of Miss Young, the evacuees' strategy to impress the vicar involves telling some outrageous fibs.
Did you know the hymns?
I did know some of them.
You did?
What? It didn't look like it in church, Laura.
And what are the best bits about life on the farm?
Doing the work is pretty enjoyable, sir. I don't know why I'm being lazy. Just can't be bothered. Yes, I do enjoy my work on the farm. It's very hard work, but very rewarding. Not liking it, it absolutely stinks.
What about the food?
The food's lovely, so it just made me feel sick. It was disgusting.
How are you getting on with Miss Young and the teaching?
I'm guessing I'm very well. Miss Young's a really good teacher.
I don't really like that Miss Young. She's a bit strict and moany.
And what's your favourite subject?
Probably PE and maths.
Where on earth did you get an answer like that?
I like English. and Miss Young is a very good teacher. I don't like Miss Young teaching me. She snaps at you like a dog or something.
Well, your head will be swelling, Miss Young.
And Miss Young isn't the only one who's smiling.
I am relieved that I'm out now, but it was a bit funny the way Miss Young was talking in there.
That was just so funny.
And we had to be so polite. It went okay, actually, better than I expected. He just, appreciated you. He wasn't really strict. He just remembered all your manners, and then you were cool.
But the big question is, have they convinced the vicar?
Well, I trust you felt their manners were as you would expect.
I thought they behaved very well. I think I'd almost say they behaved in an exemplary fashion, Miss Young. I think they're a credit both to you and to Mrs. Rivet.
I'm very, very happy with that remark. Thank you, Vicar.
Miss Young is quick to reward her charming pupils.
Facing me, I just thought I'd come in and say how very well it went with the vicar.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Young.
You're a great credit to Mrs. Rivet and the atmosphere in this house. So I brought in the remains of the cake, which didn't go home with the vicar, and the plate of biscuits for you to eat.
Thank you, Miss Young. Thank you very much.
The children's behaviour during the tea party was impeccable. They tried very hard to open the door correctly, shut it behind them, come in, look straight at the vicar. And of course Mrs. Rivet was quite in their line of sight and could see how well they did. They were a credit to her.
But with Miss Young gone, so too have the children's manners.
I want it, please. Please, can I have it, Laura?
No.
And it seems that winning the children's affections is just a piece of cake.
We just had tea with the vicar and it went really well, and I've just got loads of praise off Miss Young, and I'm really happy.
When you eat more, you get to know her, the more she smiles a lot, and she's getting a bit of a better person now.
I think she's probably quite nice. And to tell you the truth, I think Miss Young may actually be a good teacher. I know it sounds crazy, but I think it could actually happen.
At Castle Farm, miracles happen on a Sunday.